Okay, so to approach the Waves of Democracy project from a logical and mathematical standpoint, what you're going to want to do is acquire your data. This can be from any online source that you deem appropriate and credible. So what you're going to want to do is get a list of countries with democracies and throughout the years, so create a plot out of that. Years being your X and countries, democratic countries over time being your Y factor. So you're going to want to graph this and then use linear regression to extrapolate a curve from this, and from that you'll use that to analyze your data.
Okay, so to find your values on your x-axis, you need to assign each year an observational number, and you're going to measure the numbers of years between observance instead of using like the year as your number. And then you're going to model this equation with a quadratic regression, and the equation I came up with is y equals 7.57 x squared minus 50.62x plus 96, and that's an upward facing curve, and so that tells you that the observations started out with great amount of time distance between them, briefly had a large grouping of observations in a small period of time, which is shown right here, and then we'll have greater periods of time between observations. To find your y, or your number of democracies, you need to use a sine curve and manipulate it, and you need to use the same observance numbers and use a net change in democracy to find a sine curve, because if you use total numbers of democracies, it won't be a sine curve because it's overall increasing. So the sine curve I used was y equals 37 sine in parentheses 3x minus 5 in parentheses plus 14, and that will give you these values that tell you how many democracies. So from this, we used real math to find these patterns, and it tells us that we are currently at 2014 exactly where we would think we would be. We are in a peak of democracy. We will have our next recession. We'll bottom out in 2052, and there will be 58 democracies. And the next peak will be in 2079 with 109 democracies. So clearly this is not going to be accurate forever because the number of years between observances will keep getting infinitely larger. But for a short period of time, this is going to be a very accurate model because of the math we used. So, yeah.